Frenkie de Jong and Jules Koundé are 100% ruled out of El Clásico. But this whole situation does make me worry about what's yet to come. Pedri could be the added boost we need to win El Clásico. What's up, coolers, and welcome back to Barça Dream Team, and we're back again, back to discuss El Clásico and the season in general. We've already got Pedri, De Jong, Rafinha, Lewandowski and Koundé injured, and two more join them on the sidelines. We're discussing it all here today, so we've got a lot to cover in today's video, guys, so let's get started.
So at the start of the international break, having already suffered all those injuries, the last thing we wanted to hear was more players being added to that list, because Gavi went to join up with the Spanish national team but didn't train with the squad, with reports suggesting an injury that could rule him out of Spain's upcoming matches. And Lamine Yamal has picked up an injury too. We knew the club wanted to stop him from being called up for international duty, but in the end Lamine did join up with Spain, but he's looking likely to pull out of the Spain squad after a left hip injury. Now, both players are set to be unavailable for selection, but the good news is that they should be back in time to feature in Barca's next match against Athletic Club. But when you're looking at Barca, injuries have plagued our season. In our opening match against Getafe, this is how we lined up, and we've lost 5 players out of that lineup due to injury. Now that's half of our whole starting 11. 5 starting players now unavailable for Xavi, and that's not even including the injuries we've just discussed to Gavi and Lamine. Of course, every team suffers from injuries, but we've suffered so many all in one go. And it's not just for any players. Those are literally 7 of our best players. One positive, I suppose, is that we're still picking up the points, just. We're still in the race for La Liga, and we're on track to top the group in the Champions League. But it's going to be a real struggle without 7 of our best players for a prolonged period of time. And when you're looking at the cause of these injuries, we know about the relaxed training sessions under Koeman and the impact they had on injuries. But I don't think you can say the same about Xavi. We've seen a complete overhaul of the staff involved, and the whole mentality around training has shifted to make training sessions as intensive and fast-paced as real matches. In fact, one of the first things Xavi did when he came in was to remove all the physios and doctors and replace them with an experienced team led by Dr. Pruna, who knows the club very well. We can't expect that to completely prevent all injuries, but I'm sure Dr. Pruna will be disappointed with this crazy situation and so many injuries.
But you know, many of these injuries have just been a case of bad luck. Look back to Rafinha, his injury was from him stretching for a shot and pulling the hamstring of his standing leg. Lewandowski was the victim of a horrific challenge in the Champions League match against Porto. And Koundé, well, Gavi just got fouled and fell on his leg, and that meant that the Frenchman had to be withdrawn from the game. So the point is, a lot of these injuries have not been preventable like we've seen in the past. That does give me a bit of confidence, because it's more about an unlucky phase of injuries rather than poor training sessions or an incompetent group of medical staff like we have seen in the past. But this whole situation does make me worry about what's yet to come. Araujo's starting to worry me with a long record of injuries already. We wish he could play every minute of every game because he's that good. But at times when we're ahead, maybe we could and maybe we should go without him. Look at Cancelo and the number of minutes he's played. We've already discussed that before, and the exact same goes for João Felix, who's got a massive increase in his attacking responsibilities after our injuries to forward players like Lewandowski and Rafinha. There's Balde too, with no real quality backup option to be called upon when needed. We've just got Marcos Alonso, and Gundogan, he's playing a lot of football too. We have to get through this tough patch one way or another. It's going to be a real struggle up until the point when Xavi has the whole squad to call upon. But when you are looking at that big game, El Clásico, the early indication from Javi Miguel is that Frenkie de Jong and Jules Koundé are 100% ruled out of El Clásico. When it comes to Rafinha and Lewandowski though, it's all up in the air, and there's a slim chance that they'd be available, and other sources are suggesting that Rafa is a bit closer to returning than Robert Lewandowski. But Javi Miguel has confirmed that Pedri is the furthest along in his recovery. He's started working with the ball just before the international break, and Pedri could be the added boost we need to win El Clásico. But we can't afford to hide behind those injuries, use them as an excuse. We have lost big players, but things aren't going to magically improve when we get them back. Aside from the 2-5-0 results, the performances have not been convincing. We've seen a lot of comebacks so far this season, which shows the team's got character. That's great, but we've got to start channeling that into getting early leads and killing off games rather than pushing for equalizers in the 80th minute. You look at Real Madrid and the injuries they've had, and they're in a similar position to us. They've lost really important players, and they've lost Karim Benzema on the transfer to Saudi Arabia as well. Don't forget that. But they are still getting the results, partly due to the individual brilliance of Jude Bellingham, and they're still finding a way, and we have to do the same. So let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you could choose 2 players to be back for El Clásico, who would they be? And can we still stay in the title race without 7 of our best players?
So if you like this video, guys, and you want to stay up to date with Xavi's Barça Dream Team, make sure to hit that notification bell, subscribe to BDT, and we'll see you next time. Visca el Barça!